Yeah. I want to welcome y'all to the ArthurJ84 podcast. Let's get it. Just sit back and let it breathe. We coming with more heat. You only get one shot. You shady or maybe not. You capping, we laughing. We on a mission. Now listen, we making statements and stating some of opinions and some of fact. So sit back and just relax. All the bull don't get no slack. We bringing it back to back with a swag and a class act. It's levels to this, and the truth will show who your friends are. That hate you won't get far. So be great. Let's debate. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm Arthur J.
And I'm Tyre.
And we back with another video. We want to welcome y'all to the Arthur J and Tyre TV podcast. It's good to be here, man. You know, we on this topic that we getting ready to talk about. It's a lot that been going on in this case. The Tyre tragedy. The terrible tragedy of Tyre Nichols. We gonna get right into that, but before we get into that, man, I want to tie you right in it, man. The thing that I've been thinking about, brother, man, just been going through my mind is just with brutality as a whole, with violence as a whole. Before we get into the Tyre situation, it bothers me. It's disturbing. It's so much in the world that we see in the streets, and it's so much that we see with police brutality. And the thing that I want to tie you in is, you know, how does that make you feel as a not only as a man but as a black man when you feel like all the things that we've been seeing in the world as far as violence in the streets, and how we getting ready to get right into this whole episode of this Tyre Nichols situation. How does that make you feel as a black man?
And as a black man, first of all, violence in any way, you know, is bad, especially when it's not wanted, you know. And as a black man, it's kind of scary every time we step out of our house, whether, like you said, we're in the streets. And I don't work so hard myself to lead that life way behind years back. And now that I'm a productive and I'm a citizen, a law-abiding citizen, and we still going through this brutality, it's like, dang, man, when is it, you know, say you think when you do better in life, you'll be safer in life. But as you see, you know, you can get pulled over and violence just follows you or finds you in a certain way. So it's really scary the times we living in, and actually it's been going on so long now. It's just like it's becoming like normal, and in a sense of you see it like, oh man, another black person getting shot or another black person getting stabbed or hung or whatever the case may be, and it's becoming a normal. And I think we kind of getting desensitized to tragedies as they happen so much in the current, and we got to not lose sight of, no, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really scary walking out just to go to work or something.
Absolutely, man. You know, it's so, you live in a world where, you know, you walk out your door and you never know if you're gonna make it home back. It's so painful and it's so disturbing to just have a thought of, you know, you being anywhere and not thinking that you're gonna make it back to your family, make it back to your job, you know, make it back to whatever location that you was planning on going. So let's get right into this, man. This Tyre Nichols, you know, and you know, tragedy, man. It bothers me, man. And in this episode, y'all can see it in us. It's how long are we gonna continue to not hold people accountable? And notice I said people because I try not to make the focus, brother, on just emotions. I try to make it on logic, like we always say. But it's hard to not be emotional when you feeling all kind of different kind of emotions inside, especially as a black man. You know, when I see that happen to a young man that was murdered by other black men who happen to be officers.
Yep.
You know, and it's so much in this dynamic. You know, we can go on and on and on, but it's so much in this dynamic. And I'm about to tell you, I don't want to talk long. I want to bounce the ball basketball back to you.
I can hear it in your voice. You're emotional right now just talking about it, man.
Because
it could have been us.
It could have been us, man.
Easily.
It's like it's me and you as a black man, my nephews.
Yeah.
You know, people have sons. I don't have a son, but I have a daughter. And you think, my mom used to always say when I was, you know, a teenager growing up and just learning to drive and stuff, or just starting to drive, I never knew it until she told me later on in life how nervous she used to be every time I'd be out and about. And I was always a kid that did never really get caught up in anything, but still think about how many innocent lives have been taken by the hands of these cowards. And we're going to call it just like it is. Let that breathe. Let that breathe. So I'm going to tie you on that, like getting right into the nitty gritty of it. How do that make you feel knowing another story? But the significant part of it is these officers are black. Now, don't get me wrong. Before you get right into it,
know where I'm going.
Murder is murder, and wrong is wrong. But how does that make you feel when you found it? Because when I first brought it to you, I didn't even know. I'm gonna say this real quick. I didn't even know that they was black.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel when you see one of us do something like this?
You know, like you said, man, murder is murder, first of all. But at the same time, it's like, man, come on, man. It's us killing us again. It's us killing us again, but we get so bent out of shape, which is still wrong when it's the opposite race killing us, man. But we're taking us out. We're doing basically the job that they want to do silently, but we're doing it ourselves. And being another black person, you know, in that moment, you know how we act. You know how we operate. They want to say resisting arrest or whatever. Man, you know what resisting is when it's really us, because you're black. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, it's a tragedy. I'm sad, and I got so many different emotions about it. You know what I'm saying? But I believe they do. I think they got sentenced. It went fairly quickly. But at the end of the day, no matter what they get sentenced to, you can never bring this young man back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? When it wasn't a violent act being committed anyways, regardless. So, man, it's just crazy that it's us. It kind of reminds me, you know, in a sense, and I know it's way off, but, you know, when Malcolm died, he died in the hands of a black man. Don't make it no better. But at the same time, if we're going to march and preach this, we got to stop taking us out, man, or we need to shut the hell up. Excuse my dang on language, but, man, come on, man. We got to stick together. So on that note, it just bothers me in that particular way, you know, that it was us, man.
Keep that same energy, man. Let's get on that right there, because
that's where I want to go.
Yeah. We on the same point on this. You know, it really baffles me that here it is. You mentioned marching when it's the other race that murder us, that ridicule us, or that beat us down. We are the world, or black power, and march and yell and tear up stuff and scream and cuss and fight and all kinds of stuff
for a month, and then go right back to the same
exactly stuff. But when it's one of us, we don't hold ourselves accountable. And that be pissing me off, because it's so many times that we try to show that we show that we so bothered when it's the other race, but when it's our own, it's okay. You don't hold people accountable in the streets. You don't hold people accountable when it's black officers. But you wanna talk about accountability when it's the other race. When are we gonna see that wrong is wrong? If you wrong me, if you commit a crime and you break a law, you should get dealt with, no matter if you have a badge or no matter if you have on street clothes.
Yep.
It shouldn't matter what position you hold. And it's so funny, man. You have officers out there that they remind me of little kids. When little kids know they can get away with stuff, they gonna keep doing it, and they gonna feel like I'm not gonna be held accountable of my actions, so I'm gonna keep on doing it. But when it come down to the officers, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I know they gonna back me up. the chief gonna back me up, or the system gonna back me up. The police department, they gonna back me up. These guys had body cameras, and I'm gonna tie you right in on this one. They had body cameras, and they still didn't think like, oh, this, regardless of you had some coward trying to block the view. I didn't see the video, but I heard so many details of it, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I didn't watch the video myself. I'm like,
I couldn't do it, bro. And I done watched a lot of things in life, but I'm gonna tie you right into this on it because I have other things I'm gonna say. But how do you feel about that being that accountability, man?
Accountability is always a must, no matter what race, shape, form you come in. Accountability, you do something that's against the law, you deserve to be punished to the full extent. I believe myself personally, if you're wearing a badge and commit this crime, you should get double or whatever the law is set for a civilian committing that same act.
Say that again for the two people in the back that didn't hear you.
For if you're wearing a badge and you commit the act of murder, you should be punished double the extent of a civilian committing the same act that you did. Now, when we say keep that same energy, I believe they move really swiftly. They got them in there with less than a month. They got them sentenced. They got them arrested. It didn't take months and months and months. So race still plays a part in my book. That these guys was black officers. Now they deserve to get punished, but keep that same energy when it's a white person. It don't take 6 and 7 months to get no conviction or them being suspended from the force. Now y'all just set the blueprint to how swiftly you need to act, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, whatever you are. If you're wearing a badge and you commit an act, you need to be punished as swiftly as these black guys. Let's keep that same act. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I say, they deserve to be punished, period. But let's move as swiftly with these other races that's killing us. See, y'all move swiftly when it's us killing us. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man.
Guilty.
Right on
it ain't no debate.
Right on it.
Guilty. Didn't take that long. But when it's a white officer killing us, you got to figure it out, even with the body cam. Oh, let's go through months and months, maybe years, to figure out if this guy really committed this act. You know what I'm saying? So keep that same energy. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it.
Absolutely, man. It's so like I said, it's just disturbing, man, because you right on point with it. And that's what I was thinking too, is like when you hear how fast they moved on it. Some people tried to take the attention, even our own. I've heard different black people say, man, that shouldn't be the focus. It should be the focus that he was killed. We're not taking no focus off of anybody being killed, because at the end of the day, no matter how you try to take, if you was trying to take the focus off that, you couldn't even take the focus off there, because at the end of the day, that it stands what it stands at. A black man was murdered. Yeah. But you can't ignore the fact that how we get treated versus how other races get treated. Crazy. You can't ignore that. And anybody who try to ignore that, you just as bad as the people who are filled with hate or who are racist. You just as bad. Any black person that feel like you shouldn't highlight details of the significance of, hey, look how this show that it's a lot. I don't even want to spend time naming all the people over the years that have been gunned down and killed. But that show, why did it take a long time to investigate and hold these officers in the past accountable? But just like that, these officers, them,
and not to cut you off, sorry, bro.
No, you
and
good.
Most of those people, when I say this, I'm talking about the other race, committed those heinous acts, right? Was still, they was off the force, or not off the force, but they were suspended with pay. With pay. Get it? They off the force basically, but they are off the force suspended with pay. With these black men, which, like, I'm not sticking up for them. They just, you're fired, you're indicted, you're sentenced in a blink of an eye. You're
right.
Think about it.
You're right, man. And that's the thing that you can't ignore. We go through life seeing this countless time after time after time. And it just bothers me every time when people try to, say that, oh, y'all always pulling the race card. Man, listen, one thing
is
about
that.
as black people, we do a lot of things that we need to improve on, but we do not wake up looking for conversations to say, oh,
Real talk.
racist.
Real
Think about
talk.
that. We do a
Real
lot
talk.
of stuff, but we try to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah.
But when it is what it is,
All we doing
it
is
is what it
holding
is.
up a mirror.
That's it.
You know, we wrong, and it's like, don't get it twisted. What we're saying, we're wrong. When I say we, it's the color of our skin who committed this act. We're wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're not gonna play like racism didn't
Right.
exist with these people getting found guilty as fast. We're
Right.
just holding up a mirror.
You got to highlight that too. And I want to say this too, even all online, many officers speaking out against these officers.
Exactly.
Where was that same energy when white officers in the past did the same thing of killing different ones that we've lost over the years?
How long it took
Keep
for
that same energy.
for that I don't know, she wasn't black, who walked into that apartment and killed that man in his own apartment because she had the wrong apartment.
Mm-hmm.
How long did that take?
Yeah.
A while.
Yeah.
We had George Floyd. That took a while.
Yep.
And they got that on camera and all that,
Yep.
the coverage with that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let me take it back to Rodney King.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It just
Acquitted.
came across my mind. Mm-hmm.
So, and it's
that was on-
been
that was on tape.
so many. Exactly. VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the days, that was the very first basically called on tape.
Yeah.
But, it's different. It's different crimes. Just like if I commit a crime and the same white guy commit a crime, why my charge? Why? And I'm talking about not behind the badge. Why my sentence is more harsh than his?
Right.
So we cannot say racism don't play a part in justice, because at the end of the day, these laws was not, in my opinion, made for us, because they was made at a time we didn't have equal equality.
Man.
So we got to do the laws or something so it's fit for everybody, because it's not us.
You're absolutely right, man. And people don't want to hear that. People want to. That's the time that it just really, like, people want to argue things that is common sense. Everybody can have their opinions because you're entitled to it, but it's like, man, wake up.
Yeah.
On both sides. As black people, we need to wake up. White people, we need to wake up. Accountability. We talk about that all the time, man. Just, if you do something, you should be held accountable for it. That's why this episode, focus so much on that word of what we saying. Keep that same energy.
Yeah, man. For real.
Focus on those words. Keep that same energy.
And if you're not a black person, black man, black woman, and you're the opposite race, don't judge me, because you ain't walked the night in my shoes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I seen a study real quick that this teacher, professor, did a survey in her class and basically said, hey, how many people would like to basically change other races? And how many people raised their hand that they'll rather be a black person for 1 week? Nobody. Or a black woman for a week. Any white people? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ask that same question in reverse, and it ain't to say a person wish they was white, but they wanted the same opportunities for it to them, or be able to walk out their house and feel like they're living, instead of walking on eggshells like, man, I just got to make it home today, because now you just kind of existing, because you can't live, because you got to always walk around. But it was a few black folks raised their hand that they just wish they was afforded the same race that the other race gets. But
yeah, man, that's a very good point, man. And it's often that a lot of people don't think about walking in the other person's shoes. Consideration.
Yeah.
Being considerate of, I don't know what it's like to feel what you feel, but I want to be considerate of your feelings. So as black people, as a black man, I didn't ask to be black. I didn't raise my hand and say I would like to be black, but I embraced it.
Exactly.
You better believe I embraced it.
Yep.
So every moment that I hear things like this, every moment that I wake up in the morning, I embrace that you may not love me the way I love me, but I'm a black man, and you're never gonna be able to change that. You're never gonna be able to change that. So anybody who's racist, no matter who you are. Anybody that do wrong to people, no matter who you are, you cannot change the fact of who a person is.
Yep. And
you
that's
cannot
the same
change
way.
that.
Like if you're a racist, okay, that's your right to be that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you go through. I don't know how your upbringing was, how you was raised. You know, that has a lot to do with it. You didn't have a fair opportunity if you was raised like that. But at some point, you got to know what's right and what's wrong. Period. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not judging you for being racist, but at the same time, don't judge me for being black.
Yeah.
And dealing with the racism that we have to deal with.
And I only when people are racist, man, I only respond to if you did something and it was wrong to a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your thought process of how you feel about a person, it ain't got nothing to do with me. But
Exactly.
when you anybody,
right,
when you harm somebody and it wasn't self-defense, you just doing it out of hate, and you just happen to be a racist on top of that too.
Yeah.
It's like
got an issue.
You're wrong. You're wrong. It's like, you know, a person cannot like you. That don't matter to you as long as they don't come and do something to you. Once you do things, that's why we talking about this. Because you could have been these officers that are the meanest officers in the world. You could be having a bad day. You could be not liking that young man. You could be one of those officers that just be like, you could be judging him however you want to feel. But the reason why we addressing this because you did something wrong.
Yeah.
So that tie in so much into what you were just saying, as far as, you know, you have the right to be racist if you want to be racist, but you don't have the right to murder or hurt
or disrespect the person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Feel how you feel, but it's a line crossed. Like, you can say the N-word all day at your house, and it's fine. But if you call me the N-word, now we have a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't try to stop you from being a racist, but once you disrespected me, now we have a problem. Once you harmed me, now we have a problem. You know what I'm saying? I think racism wrong, but at the same time, it's your right. Just like choosing religion, it's your right. Just long as you don't try to force nothing on me or disrespect me in the same manner. You know?
Yeah, man. And you know, this guy, I want to get into this last part of it. Young man, you know, I call him my hero, the Tyre Nichols. The reason why I call him my hero, because I want to put them in that light, even though it was a tragedy. Anybody that was taken out and they didn't deserve that shouldn't have happened. You know, I hate that it happened, but they be my hero, because it's like, man, it's an example of what guys like me and you can share to the world of the wrong and how they shouldn't be, you know, committing such a crime or an act. Yeah. You know, even his mother said, you know, I feel like, you know, and I'm not quoting the right from word for word, but she was basically saying that, you know, this was an example. It's like it was, you know, God's plan for him. And that's sad to hear a mother say that, and no parent want to bury their child. Yeah. No parent want to bury their child. And I'm gonna tell you in this real quick before we close up. But he called out to his mother. And that's the part right there that I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. It almost made me break down just talking about that, because they say the doing that, they say studies show that when you about to lose your life, you think about the person that always protected you since you was a baby, or since as far back as you can remember. Life start flashing before your eyes, and it was so similar to George Floyd.
Yeah.
So I'm here to ask y'all before I tie it to you. How many more times are we gonna hear cry outs to their mothers? How many more black men are we gonna hear them crying out to their mother? It shouldn't be no cry out to their mothers. If anything, it should be them opening in their arms to embrace their mother, spend time with their mother, to be able to be there for their mother. But instead, these mothers will never be able to hold a baby again. It makes me pissed off. And for people who don't say nothing and do nothing, you are part of the problem. I'm going to tie you right into this before we close up.
Yeah, man. And like you said, man, you're part of the problem. What's the solution? I wish I had, the answers to that, but loving one another is the first key. We all human, man. We all need to be afforded the same opportunities to live a long and prosperous life. And at the same time, and I'm going to say this, I'm going back to, and this hurt so bad because it was us. We did this. We did this one.
Absolutely.
I know we talked about racism, but we did this.
Oh, absolutely.
So come on, man. We before we just keep on bashing other races by harming us, let's start by uplifting one another. We don't have to kill one another. We can have a disagreement and still go home to our mothers, our wives, our sister, brothers, whoever it is, your loved ones, in disagreement. But respectfully, live to see another day.
Yeah, man, we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna say this and we're gonna close. And you said it all, man. It's time for us to just live life where we can enjoy life and we can be able to, because it's appointed to every man that's gonna leave this world. Every woman is gonna leave this world one day or other. Nobody is gonna be here forever. So live your life the best way you can. Respect each other, respect yourself, and hold people accountable, especially our own. It starts at home. And when I say at home, I'm not talking about just in your home. I mean in our community, in our culture. It starts with us. It starts home first before you can worry about trying to reach the young people. You need to focus on your kids first. So you need to focus on your people and building them up and holding them accountable. And we need, for us to just move forward, because it's never going to be perfect, but that don't mean we have to be silent. I'm Arthur J.
I'm Taurus Adele.
Like, subscribe, share, comment. And like we always say, my brother, until next time,
Peace.
Peace.